That'd be great.
Welcome to the February 4th, 2025 regularly scheduled meeting. Unless there is an objection, I would like to add item 1.5, which is a proclamation to henceforth recognize February 13th in the Carteret County Public School System as Young Waterfowlers Day. Do you have any objections to that? Perfect. Hearing no objection, it's added. We would like to welcome our CTE students presented by Ms. Lisa Hensley.
Hi, I am Lisa Hensley. I'm the Middle School Career Development Coordinator, and I would like to welcome Cole Goodwin. He is from Mr. Brazelton's CTE teacher, or CTE class from down east, and then Owen Statler. He is from Miss Sadie's class at Newport Middle School, and they are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Would you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we do have some certificates for you boys.
Oh, and don't they get pictures?
Yeah.
Pictures! Right, now come on in. Slide in here.
Scoot right up to the center here for a picture. I can manhandle this one.
Hey, thank you, boys. Y'all did a great job. Y'all did a great job.
And if you'll remain standing, Mr. Brian Hart's going to do our invocation.
Good evening. My name is Brian Hart. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather for this Board of Education meeting, we humbly ask for your guidance and wisdom to lead us in our discussions. We pray for open hearts and minds to listen to one another, to consider various perspectives, and to seek solutions that best serve the educational needs of our community. May our words be respectful and our actions compassionate. We pray for unity in decision-making, that you would help us work together for the good of the students of Carteret County and for the glory of your great name. It's in your name, Jesus, that we offer our prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Kathy Spencer from the Southeast Education Alliance to recognize the East Carteret High School Math 1 team.
Good evening, and thank you, Madam Chair, and Carteret County Schools Board of Education members. A special thank you for allowing me to take just a few moments to recognize and celebrate some exemplary leaders in your school district. On behalf of the Southeast Education Alliance, my name is Kathy Spencer, and I serve as a representative of that group, which includes 14 school systems in southeastern North Carolina. We focus on the educational priorities of our region, but specifically on leadership-driven areas as we work to make our districts the best in this state. Carteret County Schools is certainly one of our great examples from which others are learning. As a result of the efforts by this district, including the leadership at the district level, I'd recognize Superintendent Paylor, Assistant Superintendent McClenny, who I work with regularly and who helped us as an alliance to be able to join East Carteret High School, their leadership team, their staff, and their students in what we are couching as the first regional leadership spotlight. And that spotlight is centered around mathematics education. The East Carteret High School team demonstrated the value of leadership from the administrative office to the classroom. The math department opened their doors to teachers, principals, other district leaders, and superintendents from across the region to observe and discuss how teachers and administrators can better enhance mathematic impacts, achievement, and success, most especially in the Math 1 department. This is certainly a high-need area across our state and across this country, and learning from one another is just one of the many leadership examples we celebrate. And so to recognize that group tonight, I would like to ask Principal Westbrook and his team to come forward. We have a certificate of appreciation as well as acknowledgement for their work and their willingness to open their doors to us. In addition to that, the Alliance Council agreed to provide them with a $500 check to use in their building to continue to support the work that they're doing. Thank you very much. I'll give you the floor to introduce your team.
I'll introduce real winners up here. Miss Darby Whitehurst, Miss Cassie McLean, Miss Casey Dilday, and Assistant Principal Amber Amison, who we all worked together, did some great things, but they're the true heroes in this thing. So thank y'all for all y'all's work.
Pass it on the floor.
We need the important people.
Thank y'all so much.
Congratulations.
We're doing a lot here.
If I sit on the floor, I'm going home. Thank you.
Do you have that?
Yes. Now for the proclamation for Young Waterfowlers Day, I'm going to let Ms. Chadwick read this.
Okay. Thank you. Whereas the Core Sound region of Carteret County has for centuries been a haven for migratory waterfowl, and whereas the cultural history of down east Carteret County has embraced this natural resource with its own waterfowling traditions, evolving from waterfowl hunting as substitutes to market hunting to the grand days of guiding and carving for the great hunt clubs of Core Banks, and whereas these traditions have evolved over the generations to become part of today's heritage of families down east, and whereas on February 13th, 2022, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters from down east celebrated these traditions at the 2022 Youth Hunt at Mattamuskeet Ventures near the Mattamuskeet National Wildlife Refuge. And whereas the lives of these young men and their families reflected the values of carrying on family tradition of waterfowl hunting and conservation. And whereas the weekend turned tragic as 6 Core Sound residents were lost in a plane crash offshore Core Banks. And whereas those lost, including the young lives of Noah Styron, Jake Taylor, Daley Shepard, and Cole McGinnis, along with the lives of Stephanie Fulcher and Hunter Parks. And whereas the impact of this tragedy touched the lives of people, especially students and teachers from across the nation, but most especially the families and friends, teachers, and fellow students of these Down East residents. And whereas the Carteret County Public School Board of Education recognizes and mourns the tremendous loss incurred on February 13th, 2022, and vows to never forget the names nor the faces as part of the Down East community of young waterfowlers and their families. And whereas the students, teachers, and staff of Carteret County Public Schools will always remember the outpouring of love and concern for the families and their schools that continues to this day, and whereas the importance of these traditions remain a treasured legacy of generations of young waterfowlers among Core Sound communities. And now, therefore, the Carteret County Public School Board of Education does hereby proclaim February 13th henceforth as Young Waterfowlers Day in the Carteret County Public School System, adopted this 4th day of February 2025. Thank you.
Up next is to consider the approval of the meeting agenda.
Madam Chairman, consider that a motion, ask for a second, and get a vote.
Okay. With a motion by Ms. Chadwick, do we have a second on the waterfowlers?
I will second that.
Second by Mr. Jenkins. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. Now we can consider the approval of the meeting agenda.
I approve the meeting agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Jenkins. Do we have a second?
I'll make that second.
Perfect. By Ms. Wheatley. All in favor? Perfect. Now we can move to public commenting. It is now time for public comment. Anyone present tonight wishing to make a comment should have filled out a request to speak public comment form. To ensure civility, relevance, and time management, there are specific requirements for public comment set forth in school board policy. They include comments are limited to matters pertaining to public education. The speaker shall state his or her name at the beginning of his or her comment. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes per person. A 3-minute timer will appear on the TV screens in the bottom corner. The timer will beep when there are 30 seconds remaining. It will then beep a final time when your time is up. For civility and decorum, no speaker shall make obscene remarks or issue personal attacks or insults. No complaint against a school employee or student shall be permitted, although this may be heard in closed session at a later date following consultation with the superintendent. Much information about individual students, including a speaker's own child, is confidential under state and federal law, and we discourage and often prohibit such information in open session. The chairperson may immediately terminate any comments that violate these rules. Board members will not respond to questions except occasionally to request clarification. With that, our first speaker tonight is Ms. Macy O'Connor, and we do have your handout, all board members do.
So good evening. My name is Macy O'Connor, and I'm a part of the West Carteret team.
And I'm Andrew Logan, also part of the West Carteret tennis team.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today about the urgent need for tennis reconstruction at West Carteret. This issue is not just about improving facilities, it's about safety, functionality, and long-term investment in our schools. We provided each of you with a packet containing photos of current conditions, repair estimates, and then the cost of adding 3 new courts. Right now, our courts are unsafe. All courts need resurfacing. Court 3 is unplayable due to a sinkhole. The backboard is rotting, and the fencing is rusted and broken. Multiple injuries have occurred because of these hazard conditions. According to our athletic director, no significant repairs have been made since 2008. This affects not only our tennis team, but also PE classes and community members who rely on these courts. This season, 24 players train on 2 deteriorating courts. This limits practice time, puts a strain on athletes, and increases injury risk. More courts will provide a safer and more effective training environment and allow us to host home matches. While our community supports and invests in student success, these courts are a county asset, and the upkeep is the county's responsibility. A well-maintained facility benefits this growing community, sending a message that we prioritize student safety and excellence. Tennis is a lifelong sport that encourages physical activity beyond high school. Investing in modern courts will strengthen our viable program and inspire future athletes. Just this past season, our women's tennis team won the conference championship for the first time in 13 years. Imagine what they can accomplish with proper resources. Moving forward, we need resurfacing and a new fence. We propose adding 3 courts to fully rebuild the existing ones. This project should be prioritized in the 2026 budget to ensure student safety, success, and proper long-term maintenance. You have contact details for the contractor who repaired the town courts in Emerald Isle. And this is not a request for luxury, it's a necessary investment in our students and our school. The budget must outline future maintenance of all facilities. Athletes bring pride to our community, and it's time to provide our athletics with the facilities they deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You
guys.
were incredibly well-spoken. I've spoken there as a parent, and I am positive I was far more nervous and not as well-spoken as you were. So really appreciate you
hide it
stepping
really
out.
well.
Yeah, really appreciate you stepping out of that comfort zone and speaking.
Thank you so much.
I'm proud of both of y'all for stepping up as well. So kudos to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is Miss Lucy Bond. Up next, we have Miss Lucy Bond. Okay.
Want it. I am Lucy Bond, and I'm representing the Carteret County Retired School Personnel. We are a group of retired educators who taught in public schools throughout North Carolina. We are strong advocates of public education and especially of our public school teachers, administrators, and the other faculty and staff who work hard to make sure that our students have learning opportunities to be the best they can be. Well, I'm here tonight to announce 3 scholarship endowments we offer and which are managed by the North Carolina Community Foundation. 2 of our scholarships are for qualified graduating seniors from Carteret County Public High Schools who are interested in becoming educators. The Carteret County Retired School Personnel Scholarship, the first one that's on your page there, is offered to students who want to teach in grades K through 12. The minimum we give the first year is $1,000, and it is renewable for the next 3 years as long as students continue to pursue a degree in the field of education. The second scholarship is named for its benefactor, Geraldine Mayo Beveridge, who was a dedicated teacher in Carteret County for many years. She was interested in supporting students going into vocational education, business, agriculture, industrial arts, family and consumer education, and health occupation education. However, we, the Carteret County Retired School Personnel, felt that the criteria for this scholarship, as well as the name vocational education, was outdated. Thanks to the Career and Technical Education Coordinator at West Carteret, Mickey Broadhurst, she helped us with wording and got us the DPI document that we sent to the Community Foundation. And we appealed to them and their lawyer to change the wording. So it now says, this scholarship is for students who desire to become a teacher of career and technical education, CTE, to teach in areas such as business, finance and marketing, career development, agriculture, trade and industrial education, health science, family and consumer science, computer science, IT, and technology. It's really changed since my days at West Carteret. It is also, that scholarship is also renewable for up to 3 additional years, as long as the students continue to pursue a degree in education. And I'm sure you all know that CTE teachers help students become prepared for college, careers, and lifelong learning by giving them opportunities to explore courses in 16 career clusters. That includes over 79 different career pathways and hundreds of different careers. So anyway, am I okay? The third scholarship is the Wayne H. Shriver Math and Science Scholarship Endowment. Mr. Shriver is the benefactor and a current member of our group. It's not just for educators, but it is also for people who want to major in math or science. You can read the rest. It's not much more, but anyway, thank you. It's for everyone here, but also those listening, that hopefully we can get some educators to apply. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Bond.
Thank you. There isn't a group that gets stuff done faster than that retired teacher group, and more volunteering in our schools, so thank you for all you guys do. Up next, we have approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion by Mr. Jenkins. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. White. All in favor?
Are we going to talk about the calendar?
Yes.
Yes, this is the revision. That's
This
Okay.
was for
Yes,
this year.
absolutely.
Oh, the snow days.
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry.
It was just snow day revision.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
I was like, this calendar's on the consent agenda?
No. Calendar's its own.
Okay.
Thank you. Now we'd like to welcome Miss Allison Dees, our CTE Director, for a CTE update.
Couldn't have planned that any better.
Right? She really hyped you up first.
Good evening, I'm Allison Dees. I am the CT Director for Carteret County Public Schools, and we are here once again to celebrate CTE Month. Let's make sure I can get this going. The Career and Technical Education CTE Month is a time to celebrate the value of CTE and its benefits for students. The CTE's mission is to prepare all students to become successful residents, workers, and leaders in the global economy. And I think we have some CTE teachers around in the audience. Some of them came all the way in from the Institute. I'm not sure, I thought I saw some come in. Industry credentials demonstrate a student's skills and knowledge, making them valuable for both career and further education. Our CTE programs play a vital role in developing Carteret County's skilled workforce. Employers often see these credentials as a strong indicator of success for entry-level positions. By earning credentials, students gain documented proof of their abilities, become more competitive in the job market, and are better equipped for success in careers, college, and further training. In 23-24 school year, students in Carteret County Public Schools CTE programs earned over 31 industry-recognized credentials, including well-known certifications like ServSafe and OSHA. More than 120 businesses and community organizations partner with Carteret County Public Schools CTE program to offer internships and career support to more than 170 CTE students. And these are just some of our upcoming events for the CTE Expo. That'll be next week, where we have all 8th graders being bussed in again to the Civic Center. We have things like the Steer Your Career, that's for the 5th grade to start opening that talk about exploration as they enter the middle school, Lineman Day, Transportation Day, middle school IT and Fine Arts. Our Career and Technical Education summer programs offer a range of exciting opportunities. That includes our signature Cash Camp, District C Teamship, and CAPE partnerships. Cash Camp introduces that rising 6th through 8th grader to work-based skills and related career paths using engaging in hands-on activities. District C Teamship offers a modern internship experience where students work in teams to solve real-world problems for actual businesses, all under the guidance of an expert coach. And then, of course, our CAPE internships provide students with firsthand experience with our CAPE partners, allowing them to learn the knowledge and skills necessary for their chosen career. The Careers in Partnership in Education, which is CAPE, program is an innovative collaboration designed to expand CTE internship opportunities and promote local career options. CAPE bridges that gap between education and industry by creating fundamentally beneficial partnerships for students and businesses. This program empowers students, strengthens our workforce, and contributes to community prosperity. Since its inception, CAPE has facilitated student internships with our partners while gaining valuable experience in diverse fields. Thank you for supporting Career and Technical Education, and happy CTE Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's amazing to see how fast these programs. Up next, we have Mr. Paler for bond project updates.
Thank you. We still have 3 ongoing projects. The first I'll talk about is Broad Creek. It's, to the average person that looks at the building, it looks complete, but there is still a punch list, mostly in the mechanical equipment. We continue to tweak that, but that project is still ongoing. East Carteret High School has a culinary lab project going on. The update there is that most all of the demolition has occurred. They've cut floor out to install plumbing and electrical boxes, and they will get started on some window replacements soon. So that project is ongoing. Our biggest project is at West Carteret High School. There, the band room is mostly complete. We're waiting on some fire alarm system to be installed so that it will pass inspection so that we can occupy that. The cafeteria work is completed, and there's an additional bathrooms there in the cafeteria, which has been a great help to how that school operates, so the kids don't have to leave the cafeteria to go to the restroom. So I hear from the administration, that's been a great addition. The science wing, that building is coming along nicely. The windows have been installed. The storefront doors have been installed. The HVAC units have been installed on the mezzanine, and they're in the process of hooking those up and roughing in the ductwork. The locker room work is coming along nicely. That's a very nice area now that they've closed in the area between the gym and the vocational wing with some big locker rooms and big storage areas. They have a nice washer and dryers installed in a new room. So that part's going to be really nice when it finishes. And finally, the campus-wide HVAC work continues, and we knew that there was going to be some headaches with that, and there has been, but the work will continue, and when it gets done, it's going to be really nice, but we know there's going to be headaches between now and then. So that kind of completes the bond update.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. Blair Probst. Policy updates.
Good evening, Board. Before you are only second read policies for tonight. These policies came before you last month. These come from the North Carolina School Board Association Fall 2024 update packet. These particular policies are really a reflection of modifications to state board policy or state legislation. So no changes were made since the first read. And just a reminder, Policy 5150, reporting to external agencies, that is a new policy for the board. So that is not a revision, that's a new policy. Essentially, that is basically a policy that lists all the required reports that we have to send to different entities. So be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Perfect. Do we have a motion?
Need a motion to accept.
Go ahead.
Motion to accept the policies as read.
Thank you. A motion by Mr. White, and do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Wheatley. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Mr. Probst.
Good job. Next, we will consider our academic school calendar for the 2025-2026 school year.
Good. Madam Chairman, in a moment, I will make a motion to adopt the school calendar for next school year, recommended by school administrators at our December meeting. But first, I want to make a statement. Parents, high school students, teachers, school administrators, and school board members well know that the so-called school calendar statute is not in the best interest of our students. A start date for students on or near August 25th means that we can't finish the fall semester at the Christmas break, and students have to come back after the break, finish their academic work for the fall semester, cram for final exams, and take their final exams. An August 25th start date does not align with our community college calendar. This means the hundreds of our students who are dual enrolled in both high school and college have to navigate the burden of two separate calendars. Dual enrollment saves individual families thousands of dollars in college tuition and fees and is widely promoted as good public policy. We heard last month that some universities need fall semester grades for high school students at the Christmas break for early admission decisions. An August 25th semester start date makes this impossible for our students. There is nothing favorable or fair to traditional public school students in the current school calendar statute. The General Assembly itself knows this. When it created charter schools, it exempted them from the calendar statute. When it created early colleges, it exempted them from the statute. When the state takes over a low-performing school district, the state itself is exempted from the calendar, the state itself is exempted from the calendar statute. When the state provides voucher money to private schools, those schools are exempted from the calendar statute. In North Carolina, there are tens of thousands of students enrolled in charter schools, early colleges, and private schools. With calendar flexibility, those students have a distinct advantage over students enrolled in traditional high schools. It is a fair question as to the reason the General Assembly provides calendar flexibility to all but traditional public school students, and it raises the question of equal protection law. The concern is not limited to Carteret County. More than a quarter of traditional public school districts in our state have chosen to operate on calendars that do not comply with the school calendar statute. They're able to do so because their business communities know full well the advantage their students have and do not challenge the calendars in court. In the famous Leandro case, the Wake County Superior Court in multiple court orders held that alignment of high school calendars to community college calendars is a part of a constitutional sound basic education for every single student in North Carolina. The Wake County Superior ordered the state to take the steps necessary to provide calendar flexibility to all students, yet after 3 years, the state has failed to act. As we know, the Carteret County Superior Court did not support our original calendar for the current year and required us to start school no earlier than August 25th. But that does not end the matter. As long as the state imposes more hardship on traditional public school students, we as a school board have a duty to fight for their rights. A year-round calendar is one option, but we need significant buy-in from our families to move in that direction. There's insufficient time to make that work for next school year. Further, we should not be forced by law to navigate to a year-round calendar in order to end our fall semester at the Christmas break. The simple answer is that we need the same flexibility provided to non-traditional public schools to start in mid-August. While for our next school year, 2025-2026, I will move to adopt a calendar that starts near August 25th, I will ask the board to join with parents and possibly other school districts to take court action, if needed, to provide us with calendar flexibility for the following school years. I will ask us to consider this before the end of the summer. For clarity, this would be for the 2026-2027 school year. If the General Assembly will not correct the constitutional violation, we need to ask the courts to do it. Madam Chairman, with the above caveat, I move the adoption of the 2025-2026 school calendar presented by administration under a December meeting that has school opening on August 25th.
Thank you. With the motion by Ms. Whately, do we have a second? And then we'll have discussion.
Second.
Thank you. A second by Mr. White. Any discussion?
How's everybody? I've got a lot to say. I'm not going to say a lot. I'm going to say, if we do this, I would prefer to take action before the end of summer, like tomorrow. I know that's not feasible, but that's what I would like to do. I do not support the state mandated calendar, just for the record. I think it's ridiculous that we are forced to do what is not good for kids. So that's all I'm going to say about this.
Well, and I want to say that I feel like we are failing families and students by having to abide by.
The survey results say that.
And the survey results say that. And I also want to get out there that the lawsuit we did last year did not cost the taxpayers of this county anything. So I felt like there was a little bit of that in the survey results, that people think that it did. It did not. But we feel like families need to know for next year.
It's only fair, but it's unfair.
But it's unfair, yes. And none of us, I think, want to go along with this calendar, but we feel like,
Our hands are tied.
yeah, and we need to make a calendar that people can plan their summer.
I completely agree with you. I'll be unfortunately voting for that calendar, but to ensure that we continue to not cost the taxpayers money and to respect that and not waste a couple of months and effort. But I agree, I would like to see that move as quickly as feasibly possible, that we can get parents and hopefully other school boards on board with us to file in Wake County.
And adopting this calendar gives parents and students time to plan and everything, where we adopted the other calendar and it had to change, then everything changes.
It's hard with planning summer camps and all of that, so we want to give them as much time as possible.
But it'll be interesting at the end of May, June, to see what the numbers are at the community college for this spring semester compared to what they've been in the past.
Sure. How many it's affecting.
Yeah.
I want to say just a little bit of clarity, because after last month's meeting, I had understanding from Leandro that there was possibly court ruling that allowed for the flexibility. And I did go and read portions of that court order. And the onerous, as was stated in our statement, the onerous is on the General Assembly to make that policy change and alignment. And so just wanted to clarify that point.
Thank you. With a motion and a second, all in favor? Okay, all opposed? Okay. 5-2. Thank you. Up next, we have comments from Mr. Paler again.
Good evening, board members. February is a month filled with opportunities to celebrate and recognize. In addition to being Career and Technical Education Month, February also highlights Black History Month. And this week, we honor our amazing school counselors as part of the National School Counseling Week. Next week, we will celebrate Bus Driver Appreciation Week, recognizing the dedication and hardworking bus drivers. At the end of the month is National Public Schools Week, a time to champion the incredible impact of public education. A few special dates to note, as the proclamation read earlier, February 13th is our Young Waterfowlers Day. Let us also take a moment to reflect and remember the students that we lost. They certainly remain in our hearts. Please wear a camo on the 13th in the support of this day. February 15th is National School Resource Officer Appreciation Day, so please reach out to our SROs who keep our schools safe and secure. So join me in showing appreciation this month for our CTE teachers, our students, our school counselors, bus drivers, and SROs, all who contribute so much to our schools and communities. I'll remind the public that kindergarten registration for the upcoming school year will begin on Tuesday, February 18th from 3:30 to 6 p.m. at the school the student is zoned to attend. Pre-K registration will follow in March. I'll also inform the public that our next board meeting will start with presentations from the school advisory chairpersons at 5 p.m. with a regular board meeting to follow at 6 p.m. So please mark your calendars with this update. And Mr. Chair, this concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Any comments from board members?
I do. No one else, though? I wanted to thank Macy O'Connor, who spoke earlier about the budget request for the tennis courts. It was very thorough, and I appreciated the quote. I also wanted to take a moment to thank everyone who participated in the school calendar survey. Your feedback is invaluable to us, and I do truly appreciate the time and thoughtful input that you put into sharing your preferences and concerns. I stated this part already, but, last month we mentioned the language in the court ruling for Leandro, which appeared to allow for calendar flexibility to align the calendar with community college and university calendars. And as I read portions of that court ruling, it's my understanding that the onerous is on the General Assembly to adopt policies to allow this calendar flexibility and to ensure that local schools can align with community college and university schedules. So I want to put an urge out there to the General Assembly to follow through on this. Additionally, given risk of lawsuit and the court order from last year, I felt I had to vote in alignment with these legal constraints. With that in mind, I voted for option A. I also want to say and assure everyone that this decision was not made lightly. I'll speak for myself, but I can assume that meant for all these, my fellow board members too. We didn't make this decision lightly. I did read all the survey results and all the comments and the diverse opinions provided in that survey. And I would like to work together with the board to proactively address legal options to pursue for future years' calendar that's optimal for our students. I'd like to start that sooner than this summer. Additionally, in response to our public notice requesting feedback on budgetary items, I received emails from constituents that couldn't be here tonight, so I'll summarize their suggestions. Multiple requests were made for improvement to bus driver recruitment and competitive pay. Requests were made for increased teacher pay, as we value our teachers tremendously, and we ought to consider that, and consider that at least 2 neighboring counties do pay a higher county salary supplement compared to us. Requests were made for more teaching positions to reduce the teacher-student ratio. Requests were made for nurses at each schools, more psychologists and more guidance counselors, and pay for assistant coaches. Requests were made for lockers at the Broad Creek Middle School expansion. Suggestions were made to provide foreign language courses starting in middle school instead of only at high school. Concerns were shared regarding growth in our county and what we are pursuing and planning for school expansion. Questions were posed regarding the potential increase in property tax values and thus tax, and how that would relate to our school budget. One constituent noted that their tax bill stated that 62.7% of their property tax was allocated to education. Will that same rate of increase be allocated to the next school budget? And a question was posed asking when was the last time we had a salary study completed? So I appreciate the opportunity to share this information.
Thank you. Other comments?
I mean, it's a shame we're having to go through all this, talking about lawyers and legal and, we're just needing 5 days. It makes it so simple. My daughter gets home from Christmas break. She has to gear up. She makes really good grades, and so she's taking 2 classes at the community college and 2 in the high school. She ended up with 1 exam. So there's all this educational time wasted. She's at home. I'm like, what are you doing today? She's like, well, nothing. I've already got my exams completed and ready to go. And so and again, because we're all part of this community, we know so many of these people, and we want to get along, but it's tough that we have to go through these legal things for what we're asking for is for 5 days. It's not like it's a major request. And now it looks like if we push, and from what we're learning, the way Neil's educating us with Leandro, then there's a possibility we could do 2 weeks. We can have all kinds of flexibility. And, you just wish there was some compromise out there for so many of these people bringing the lawsuits so that we could do what's right by the students. And I think that's my sentiment, towards this whole calendar issue.
Well, and since you brought that up, since we've got the media here, I want to put this on record. We did reach out to, we had a board member reach out to the TDA, we reached out to the Chamber of Commerce, and we reached out to the attorney for the people who sued us last year and offered to work a compromise, a 5-day compromise. The Chamber was amenable to working with us. The other 2 had said absolutely not. So, when you're trying to work with someone and find a compromise and they won't even listen to you, it puts us in a position where we don't have other choices. So, Cheryl, if you want to put that in the paper, that'd be fine with me.
And I had a few people reach out asking why we had that 3 days, well, it turned into 5, but the 3 days scheduled off. And that was because that was the middle of our semesters. That was our mid-year break to give those teachers time to do report cards, transition over to a new semester. And that is what if we had this calendar, would be backed into that holiday break. So I think that's important. But for transparency, that's why there was a 3-day break. It was not just a random long weekend. Yes, we realized it was close to the holidays. Anything else? Sorry. Good. We will be adding a special called meeting in reference to a parental grievance. Ms. Sarah Bulla will be in contact with everyone to schedule that. So I wanted to let you know that. Our next regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting will take place Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. This meeting will be live streamed on our YouTube channel. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ms. Kurzich. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Chadwick. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.